International Crimes Tribunal of Bangladesh, I don't know how far it is international, but it is called like international, has convicted former Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, with a death sentence. Well, how will it really be implemented? What will happen next is something to be analyzed. So the major challenge is, what are the options before India? Now Bangladesh has already been demanding Indian government to hand over Sheikh Hasina. All of you are aware that Sheikh Hasina is living in India. The Indian government officially called it a transition arrangement, but as the United States and the United Kingdom refused to take her, so she still in Delhi. So Bangladesh has always been demanding India to hand over Sheikh Hasina to them, and in fact Bangladesh has been even arguing that Sheikh Hasina's stay in India is the reason for irritants in the Indo-Bangladesh relations. Notwithstanding such claims, the Bangladesh regime led by Muhammad Yunus, India still has not been agreeing to hand over Sheikh Hasina. Now that the Bangladesh court, special court, has imposed a death sentence on her, how will India respond? So this question comes to the fore. Well, Bangladesh will intensify its demand on India to hand over Sheikh Hasina. Well, India and Bangladesh have an extradition treaty also. As Bangladesh may perhaps demand, as per this extradition treaty, wanted criminals of one country should be handed over to the other. So this kind of a cooperation in exchanging the criminals is an important aspect of the extradition process. But there is an exemption clause which was introduced through an amendment in 2015. As per the 2015 amendment to India-Bangladesh extradition treaty, India can still reject the request of Bangladesh if it feels that the trial process is farcical. So there is a deliberate vendetta politics that's being committed. Well, perhaps India will use this exemption clause to argue that this entire process is not a true process. Well, Sheikh Hasina has already been telling there are certain issues here. Firstly, this conviction is by an international criminal court. So what is international here? Because the allegations against Sheikh Hasina are very serious crimes called crimes against humanity for the use of lethal force on the protesters and ordering deliberate killing of protesters. So these are the arguments of the allegations against Sheikh Hasina. Well, Sheikh Hasina, on the contrary, says nothing international in it. If really the allegation is crimes against humanity, let the Yunus regime hand over this case to International Criminal Court. So this is the demand of the Sheikh Hasina. Perhaps India will tacitly approve this demand. Number two, second factor is, well, the way in which this entire trial has taken place. Nobody can defend the despotic regime of Sheikh Hasina. Sheikh Hasina certainly doesn't have a great record in ensuring democratic rights. She has unleashed a brutal repression of the opposition, and media was asked to be subservient. So Sheikh Hasina was alleged to have run a despotic regime. But certainly the trial is not fair, because she was not even allowed to have her own lawyer. So third aspect is, well, the political context in which Sheikh Hasina has been handed over this death sentence. So the Awami League, which is a major political party, which led by Sheikh Hasina, has been barred from contesting the ensuing Bangladesh elections in February. So therefore, when Awami League is not allowed to contest, obviously the Yunus regime doesn't want Sheikh Hasina to return even at the time of elections. So because Yunus regime knows pretty well that though Sheikh Hasina was ousted, she still enjoys considerable support from within the Bangladeshi society. So the Yunus regime is attempting to stamp out Sheikh Hasina's politics and political legacy. In the context of, in this context, she has been handed over the death sentence. So therefore, India can understand the political context in which the action is being sought on Sheikh Hasina. Then the fourth aspect is, forget about Sheikh Hasina, there are fundamental issues between Muhammad Yunus-led Bangladesh and India. So this regime is pro-Pakistan, this regime is against the very freedom of Bangladesh. This regime is dominated by the Islamist forces like Jamaat-e Islami. So these are the characteristics of Muhammad Yunus regime. So given these characteristics, irrespective of whether India hands over Sheikh Hasina or not, I don't think the relations with Bangladesh will improve under the present dispensation. Well, if you look at India-Pakistan, then no such problem of India giving asylum or giving stay or transition to any Pakistani leader. But still Pakistan is fighting a belligerent war against India. So the problem here is whether Islamist Pakistan or Bangladesh have a similar anti-Indian mindset. So therefore, for strategic reasons also, for argument's sake also, even if India hands over Sheikh Hasina to Bangladesh, I don't think Bangladesh will take a favorable position vis-a-vis India. So therefore, India knows all this. There is no diplomatic special advantage by handing over Sheikh Hasina. Rather, in fact, the fourth aspect is India's relation with Sheikh Hasina are not with reference to the present developments, the development which took place in the July-August last year. So it has over 50 years of experience, 50 years of history. So the Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, Sheikh Hasina's father, led a freedom struggle, and the forces of freedom struggle called the Banga Wahini fought against the brutal forces of Pakistan. So therefore, when India came in support of the Bangladesh liberation struggle led by Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and therefore India defeated Pakistan in the India-Pakistan War of 1970s, and more than 90,000 Pakistani soldiers surrendered. So this is an history. Throughout this history of 50 years, India has always stood on the side of Bangladesh, led by Sheikh Hasina, Bangladesh led by Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Well, in the 70s, when Sheikh Hasina's entire family was wiped out in a military coup, Hasina and her sister Rehana were spared because they were in Germany at that point in time. So India not only condemned this act, so when Hasina and Rehana came back, it was Indira Gandhi government in India which provided safe and safe haven, safe place to stay. So there is a 50-year history to Sheikh Hasina's relations with India, which is a bipartisan consensus. Where the Congress is in power, where BJP is in power, Sheikh Hasina was always a friend to India. So given this kind of a strategic diplomatic relationship with Sheikh Hasina, India is most unlikely to hand over former Prime Minister Bangladesh to an undemocratic, unelected, Islamist-led influence regime of Muhammad Yunus.